Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Ever wonder what happens after a big storm knocks out power in Texas? Well, today we are diving into the financial side of getting the lights back on, which believe me is more complicated than just flipping a switch. We are cracking open the annual report of AEP Texas Restoration Funding LLC. It is not your typical company, it is a special one created to help pay for restoring power after major disasters. Think of it like a financial first responder. This report gives us a peek into how they manage the money they raise to keep the Texas power grid humming. This report is like a yearly checkup required by the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC for short. It shows how the company performed financially over the past year, which ended in December of 2024. It also tells us about any significant risks they are facing. So who exactly is AEP Texas Restoration Funding LLC? Well, it is a special company set up by AEP Texas Inc., which is a big electricity provider. The main job of this company is to raise money by selling bonds. They then use that money to buy something called transition property from AEP Texas. This transition property is basically the right to collect money from customers to pay for the costs of restoring the power system after big events like hurricanes. AEP Texas Inc. is the company that created AEP Texas Restoration Funding. AEP Texas is responsible for collecting the money from customers and passing it on to the funding company, which then uses it to pay back the bonds. This section just confirms that the company is not considered a well-known seasoned issuer, which means they are not a huge established company that everyone knows. It also verifies that they have filed all the required reports on time. This is straightforward. There were no unresolved comments from the SEC staff. Basically, the SEC had no outstanding questions or concerns about their previous filings. Let's meet the people in charge. We have got Trevor Mihalik, who is the president and also a big shot at the parent company, American Electric Power. Then there's Matthew Franson, the treasurer, handling the money, and finally Sean Emmerich and William Blyer, who are managers from CT Corporation, a company that helps with legal and compliance matters. AEP, the parent company, has a code of conduct that applies to all its subsidiaries, including AEP Texas Restoration Funding. This code is there to make sure everyone acts ethically and follows the rules. You can find more about AEP's corporate governance on their website. Here is where it gets interesting. The company does not really pay its executives directly, except for a small fee of $1,500 to CT Corporation System for its independent managers. The real compensation for the top guys like Trevor and Matthew comes from their roles at AEP Texas and American Electric Power. This is where they list all the important documents that are included with the report. These exhibits give more detail about things like the agreements for buying and selling the transition property, how the money is managed, and legal certifications. These are certifications, kind of like legal promises that the information in the report is accurate. The company's officers are basically saying, we checked this and it is all good. This exhibit describes the agreement where AEP Texas Restoration Funding buys the right to collect money from customers to pay for those restoration costs. These are reports that assess whether AEP Texas and US Bank are following the rules for managing the assets, which are the rights to collect money from customers. It is like having someone check if they are doing a good job handling the financial side of things. There is some legal stuff to keep an eye on. US Bank, which is involved in managing the money, is facing lawsuits related to mortgage-backed securities and student loans. These lawsuits could potentially cost US Bank money and create some headaches. This section confirms that both AEP Texas and US Bank followed the rules for managing the assets. There were no major slip-ups or violations. This is a statement from AEP Texas as the servicer confirming that they have met all the requirements for managing the money and assets. Now my take on all this. AEP Texas Restoration Funding seems to be doing what it is supposed to do, providing a way to pay for restoring power after disasters. The company is set up in a way that keeps it separate from the parent company, which is good for making sure the money is used only for its intended purpose. The risks related to the lawsuits against US Bank are something to watch, but they do not seem to be directly threatening the funding company's ability to operate. Overall, it seems like a well-structured financial tool for managing the costs of keeping the lights on in Texas. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give us a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate finance.